Don't buy that TV of your dreams just yet. Right now, retailers are offering the biggest price cuts we've seen all year on top-of-the-line flagship models. These aren't fake Black Friday models made with low-quality components just to hit a low price tag. These are genuine top-tier TVs experiencing significant drops in retail prices because warehouse space is filling up and manufacturers need to clear inventory before the next product cycle. Right now, 4 specific TV models are seeing price drops ranging from $1,000 to $2,200. Each one deserves serious consideration. Each has a hidden gem that's never mentioned on the price tag. Today, we'll examine all 4 individually, from the one with the most specific and manageable limitations to the one offering the best value in this year's premium TV market. The window for these deals is short. It takes just 10 minutes to get the information you need to buy the right TV. Don't skip ahead. If a product you bought at a big discount ended up disappointing you after you brought it home, you're in the right place. We help you avoid this problem with the videos we upload to our channel every week. Let's start with the very best. Number 4 is the Hisense U8QG 65-inch, and the price drop on this television is the kind of number that stops you mid-scroll. $1,000 off a flagship mini LED panel. The U8QG runs Hisense's Mini LED Pro backlight architecture, which means thousands of independently controlled dimming zones working behind a quantum dot color filter. The brightness that results from this combination is the kind that makes competing televisions in a bright room look like they are struggling. Daytime sports, afternoon gaming, any environment where ambient light normally compromises picture quality. The U8QG does not negotiate with glare, it simply overpowers it. For a living room that gets significant natural light, this panel's hardware credentials are genuinely impressive at full retail. At $1,000 off, the price-to-performance ratio becomes almost difficult to argue against. The Truva Atta is a processor problem that appears the moment the content accelerates. Hisense invested the hardware budget in the panel and made cost cuts on the processing chip. When a ball moves across the screen at full speed during a sports broadcast, or when a fast action sequence demands clean motion rendering, the processor cannot keep up. Objects smear. Fast camera pans produce a visible stutter. This is a consistent and documented limitation that reviewers and users have confirmed across Hisense's processing tier. For content that is not in constant rapid motion, the U8QG performs at a level its price has no right to suggest. For live sports as a primary use case, the processor will frustrate you within the first session. Subscribe if this is already clarifying a decision you have been sitting on. Number 3 is the TCL QM8K 98-inch, and the case for this television requires understanding one number, 98. At 98 inches, the screen fills a wall. A person sitting at a normal viewing distance to this panel is sitting inside the image in a way that no smaller screen can replicate. 98 inches means the players in a football game appear at roughly human scale. It means the crowd in the stadium becomes a crowd rather than a texture. It means the scale of landscape cinematography in a film arrives the way the director actually intended it to land. TCL has dropped $2,000 off the QM8K market tracking from Memorial Day sales confirmed this figure. Getting 98 inches of mini LED hardware at this price is not something the market offers on a regular schedule. When the next product cycle arrives and this inventory is gone, the replacement will not carry this price. The contrast performance from the dense dimming zone array is genuinely competitive with panels at significantly higher prices. The brightness output overpowers ambient room light with the same brute force confidence that defines TCL's QM line. For the person in the center seat, the experience is something that simply cannot be replicated by a smaller, more expensive alternative. You are not watching television, you are inside it. The Truva Atta is geometry. The VA panel inside the QM8K creates an extraordinary viewing cone directly in front of the screen and a noticeably compromised experience outside it. At 98 inches, the people sitting at the edges of a wide seating arrangement are likely to be further off axis than they would be with a smaller screen. The colors wash out. The contrast flattens. The center seat is an IMAX experience. The side seats are watching through a different, lesser display. For a room where the seating faces the screen directly and the primary viewers sit in a central arc, the QM8K at this price is one of the most impactful purchases in consumer electronics this year. For a wide room with guests spread at various angles, the picture quality will be uneven in a way that undermines the scale advantage. Number 2 is the Samsung QN90F Neo QLED 85-inch, and this television arrives with a $2,200 price cut on a panel that was already competitive before the drop. The QN90F's mini LED array delivers brightness and local dimming performance that competes with OLED in a lit environment. 85 inches of that performance at this reduced price is a combination that very few alternatives in the market can challenge. For sports, for gaming, for daytime family viewing on a large screen, the QN90F brings genuine flagship credentials to a price point that its specification sheet has no business occupying. The brightness in a sun-filled room is the kind that makes visitors ask what television you have. The local dimming precision is the kind that makes dark scenes hold their contrast without the grey fog that plagues cheaper mini-LED implementations. At $2,200 off, this is premium hardware at a price that bypasses every rational objection. The Truva Ati is a corporate decision that Samsung has been making for years and shows no sign of reversing. Samsung does not support Dolby Vision. When you open Netflix, Disney Plus, or Apple TV Plus on the QN90F and select a film that was mastered and streamed in Dolby Vision, the television cannot render that format. The signal is automatically downgraded to standard HDR10. The difference between Dolby Vision and HDR10 on a panel of this quality and size is visible and meaningful. Shadow detail, highlight precision, and color accuracy in dark scenes all step down when the format steps down. Leon bought the QN90F specifically for film watching, drawn by the $2,200 saving and the 85-inch scale. The first evening he opened a recent release on Netflix that he had been waiting months to watch. He noticed within the first 20 minutes that something looked off about the way highlights were rendered in dark scenes. He checked the playback information and confirmed the television was playing the HDR10 version of content that his streaming service was transmitting in Dolby Vision. The format his television cannot accept. He had saved $2,200 on a screen he loves for sports and will tolerate for cinema. Know that trade-off before the purchase, not after. Who is this for? Anyone who prioritizes sports, gaming, and daytime content on a large screen and can accept the Dolby Vision limitation for streaming films. Who should consider the next option? Anyone for whom cinematic streaming accuracy is as important as raw brightness and scale. And now, the one that ends the research, the LG C5 OLED 65-inch. At 52% off, with verified Memorial Day sale data showing a $1,400 reduction from original retail, this is not a discount on a compromised product. This is a liquidation of last year's reference level OLED panel at a price that makes every argument for buying the current generation difficult to sustain. The C5 delivers everything that OLED means at its best. Every pixel produces its own light. Every pixel that is supposed to be black turns off completely. The result is not an approximation of darkness, it is actual darkness, sitting directly beside whatever brightness the frame requires with no contamination between them. The picture that a cinematographer built frame by frame arrives at your eyes the way they built it. The contrast is not engineered, it is physical. When a scene transitions from a brightly lit room to a dark exterior shot, the screen does not adjust the way a backlit panel does. It simply shows you both states simultaneously, each in its correct form, because the pixels have no shared dependency. That is what you are buying, not a specification, a physical property. A buyer on a home theater forum set up the C5 alongside their neighbor's new C6 for a direct comparison session. They watched the same content on both panels side by side for an hour. They posted afterward that they genuinely could not identify which screen they preferred without checking the label. The brightness difference that separates the two models measures roughly 10% in laboratory conditions. In a living room, on a couch watching real content, that 10% is invisible. The $1,400 they kept in their wallet was not. The Truva ATI is the only honest one on this list. The C5 is last year's model. If owning the current generation matters to you, this television will create a persistent background awareness that you are one model cycle behind. That awareness is entirely psychological. It has no relationship to what you see on the screen. The picture quality is reference level. The specifications for gaming and streaming are complete. Nothing about what the C5 shows you on its panel reflects the fact that it is not the 2026 model. But if the idea of not having the newest thing bothers you in a way that persists over time, know that before you save $1,400. Subscribe and stay close because this video covered the discounts worth taking. Next week we are covering the Walmart TV aisle, which operates on completely different logic. Some of those TVs are genuinely shocking value for what they cost. Some of them are engineered to look like deals and fail within 18 months. We are covering both categories, and you need to know which is which before you walk in. We will see you there.